I want to talk to you about cleaning the paper feed rollers on this type of machine. This is an Epson Workforce 4020, but I think what I'm going to show you will apply to similar models of this series. What's been happening is that it just won't pick the paper up. Then I get a paper fault, this light comes on, and I have to push the switch again, fiddle around with the paper, and sometimes it prints and sometimes it doesn't. So here's the same printer, hopefully in a bit more accessible location. I'm going to fold up the out tray and pull out the paper tray and hopefully show you the feed roller. It's way up at the back in there. That's why we need a bit of a trick to get to it, which I'm going to show you now. I just wanted to add that at this point, when you've got the duplexer out, you can see the feed rollers here sitting on top of the stack of paper, but it's not really a very good place to be putting liquid on them and cleaning them, because we get the liquid on this stack of paper. If you take the paper tray out, you've still got access to these rollers here, but you're reaching them through this little tiny space here, and you've got this finger in the way. So it's not really the best. You could clean it like this, and the first time, in fact, I tried to do it like this, but there's a better way. Turn the printer upside down. When you turn it upside down, be careful of the out tray, which is going to be flipping around when it's hanging down. Also be careful of the top paper tray, which will be loose and will be flipping around, and you'll notice that I have this little lip on the back over the edge of the counter so that it's resting on the flat top. Now we have a bit better view of the roller, the paper feed roller. It's on this bracket, these two little wheels at the end, but it's hidden by this cover, which we're going to remove. The cover is held on with 6 screws, 2 of which are different. So the 2 at the top, or at the front end, this one on the strap, and this one are small machine screws, whereas these other ones are plastic screws, a little bit like wood screws. They've got a much more aggressive thread. And we'll take out this one, and this one. We don't remove these two. And this one, and this one. So once again, we have 4 like this. Sorry, what's that? 5, 5, and 2 of the machine screws. So we're going to put those aside. And now this cover will lift out of here, but I'm being very careful because this strap needs to be lifted up, and there's a wire here. So we're going to just flip it over like that. And now we have perfect access to the roller, the paper feed roller. Now it would be quite easy to clean it like this, but let me show you something I found out. If you hold it here, and you can't see this arm, I'm going to move the camera around. So what happens here is this arm lifts this up, like so. So if we just lift this a tiny bit more, this arm, this comes right up loose and comes out. So now it's really easy to clean. So we've got the feed roller out of the machine here. I'm just showing you what happens here. It's turned at the bottom end and it's laying on the stack of paper, and you can see those two little, I'm going to call them rubber. I'm not sure if they're rubber or some kind of compound. You can see a little bit of ink on there. Sometimes if you get some streaking on the page, it's these rollers that have become dirty from a splot of ink. Now I'm using the purest alcohol I have. It's isopropyl. It's a special cleaner, but something similar. I think some kind of high concentration of alcohol. Just soaking the end of it here lightly, both sides. The rest of it's plastic, and there's a couple of screws, so I don't think I'm going to hurt anything. And then by turning it, I think it's important at this point, once you got the alcohol on it, not to touch it with your fingers anymore, because you don't want the oil from your fingers on there. And I just try and do the best job I can getting everything off there. Still a little bit wet. Smells like a hospital in here. Okay, I think that's going to do it. I'm just going to let that dry. Okay, we're ready now to put the feed roller assembly back in. It's got a slight hook to a curve to it here. That's the down side, and you can cut, almost drops into place here. You can, almost there. Okay, and then what I did before was just lift this arm up gently and just hook it over the end of the feed roller. And then the opposite of what I did to take it apart, to line up all the screws, put it back together, and then turn it right side up. So here we are, happily printing on both printers. Hopefully this has helped you and helps you get a bit more life out of these wonderful old printers. I've really liked mine. Thanks very much, Epson. Thanks for your interest.